showtime. There's that hand thing again. Why am I doing that? I don't know. All right. We got stuff. We got stuff. Oh. And 3, 2, 1, go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today's Thursday. It's April 15th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this right here is my first cup of coffee. Well, I hope you had a pretty solid Wednesday. I did. I am happy to say that I feel like I'm slowly getting better. It was really touch and go there for a while. But the last couple of days have been decent. And it wasn't as sad. Losing a parent is hard. I guess fortunately it can only happen twice. Yeah. It's heavy. It's not a thing that I want to go through, but I think any of our parents would prefer that they go before we do. So maybe in a sense it is good thing is the wrong word, but better than the alternative. So what happened yesterday? Chipping away on some projects. I got ideas for more projects. You know, the unfortunate thing is I have, and I'm going to guess most people are like this, I have more ideas than I have time to implement them. And that's really a shame. You know what I did think of, though, this morning? I thought of a way. So I mentioned before the strength and speed hybrid that is, I would love to say is done. It's not done. The framework's there. But it has lost focus to other projects. But I realized this morning that that's going to be the first program that we will roll out with a commercial license. Because the format of it actually works for integrating into martial arts classes. I'm pretty pumped about that. So we'll see how that goes. What else happened yesterday? Hung out with a friend, played with a dog, worked on a book, did not record audio, did a bunch of client work. The cat got acupuncture, and she has been ravenous since, which she hasn't been very hungry. She keeps losing weight, so that's been really exciting. Had a call with a client. And I am kind of excited because tomorrow, or rather today and tomorrow, I have no meetings. Actually, do I have a meeting? I might have one tomorrow. I don't think so. But I don't think I have any meetings. I know I don't today, which means I can just get work done. Now, I think I'm going to get all the work done that I have to do here, and then tomorrow I'll be up at the co-working space for the first time in a few weeks. And I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting out of the house. I gotta go to Home Depot and get some stuff anyway for the weekend. I'm finding myself again. It's a difficult thing. I don't know what you want. Why don't you come sit? Fussy cat. Where is everybody this week? Oh, is it school vacation? No, isn't that next week? I don't know, maybe some places. We have had very few live attendees this week. What do you think of that? Come sit. You guys settle. I was sitting in front of a fire last night and ended up with a 60-pound lab in my lap who would not settle. It's different than when she won't settle. When she won't settle, I can just move her around. A dog on your lap, you kind of... Eventually, I just grabbed her and just kind of hugged her, and she settled down. Right? show. It's Thursday. I remembered. Let's see. What is this one? I'm pretty sure this is something Andrew and I recorded, so let's check on it. Can you see what she's doing? She's rubbing her face on the tablet. I'm trying to use this. Ah. So this is an episode 597. That for some reason is scheduled to come out tomorrow. That's not going to work. Let's fix that. How do I change this? Oh, come on. Come on. Why are you doing this to me? There it is. We're going to release this right now. Episode 597. Publish now. Boom. Public. Nope. Public. Yes. Save. Done. There. Okay. Episode 597, ratios of black belt to non-black belt students. And of course, whenever I use the term black belt, I mean or equivalent. You know, that not all schools do that, but, you know, and I think we even talk about that in this episode. But the idea that you can have too many advanced students, and it makes things difficult for younger students, and by younger I mean lower rank. And you can have not enough, and there is a ratio that works. And Andrew and I talk about that. We talk about why. We talk about. I recorded this a while ago. I don't remember the details, but I'm sure it's good. So you should listen to it or watch it because it's a Thursday show, and Andrew and I do Thursday shows in video. That's what's going on there. And I don't really have much else to say. So I'm going to see what you have to say about stuff for me to say. The questions, the comments, the feedback, the quotes, all that good stuff. That's what we're doing now. Come on, tablet. Can you hear her purring? She's incredibly loud. Was that my stomach or yours? I don't know. I think it was yours. Come on, tablet. Wake up. So the goal today is to get through another chapter each in the audiobook and the written book. I've got some other things that I have to do, but possibly as much as 2 of each. We will see. We'll see what I get in a roll on. If I get in a roll, maybe I'll aim for rolling along with the written book and then rolling with the audiobook. Find out. I've got the time. I can really crank through some of this stuff today. So I'm going to get them both finished. All right. Today we've got some stuff from both John and Frank. So John responds to my comment yesterday about narration of the audiobook. And he says he's been listening to the audiobook version of the Martial Artist Handbook this week. Your narration is up there with the best of them. That is an incredibly high compliment because there are some phenomenal narrators out there. So thank you, John. I really appreciate that. I just want it to be good. You know, admittedly, the Martial Artist Handbook wasn't, I'm going to share a secret with you guys. It wasn't a narration. It was a ad-libbed book from an outline that we turned into a transcript and edited as a book. I did the audio first. So that might be what's going on. I pretty much did what I have done for years with podcasts. I said, all right, what are we going to talk about? And then I talked about it. And I just recorded some audio files as chapters and sent it off. Julius did the editing. That's why the editing came through really well. And that's that. Can you hear her? I want you to hear this. You hear that little like chirpy purr at the end? I love that. She only does that when she's very, very happy. I don't know how much longer I have with her. So just trying to enjoy what I've got. I think I'm going to send off the first couple chapters of the novel, of the narration of the novel, to somebody just to check it. I want to make sure, I'm conscious of the other thing going on, the Invisalign. I don't know. It's not something I'm really confident in. So we keep working on skills. Build your skills. More and more, when I look at people that I look up to, that I respect professionally, they're talking about skill development. They're not talking about making money. They're talking about building skills, because ultimately skills lead to money. Good morning, Nathan. And I think if we think about that as martial artists, it makes sense. I've talked about diversity of training, even if it's not at the expense of mastery. Work on the different things that you got to work on. Don't just be a self-defense person. Don't just be a forms person. The more you work on the other stuff, the more it helps everything get better. I'm working on the skill of narrating books. All right, so today is World Art Day, per Frank, and we've got 4 different quotes from, I'm assuming, artists. Do I recognize any of these names? I do not. All right, first one. Art is man's nature. Nature is God's art. That's from Philip James Bailey, who is an English spasmodic poet. I don't know what a spasmodic poet is. I'm assuming spasmodism is a style of poetry, like a beat poet or something. Maybe not like a beat poet, but a beat poet is a type of poet. Art is man's nature. Nature is God's art. I agree. I like that. That's one of those quotes that seems very surface, but the more you dig into it, the deeper it gets. And I like talking about art because I see martial arts as art. I get really frustrated when people challenge that definition. They're like, martial arts is not art. It's right in the name. Grammatically, it's the focus of the term. How can it not be? How can there not be an artistic element in there? How can that not be worthwhile? It's an umbrella term that encompasses such a wide variety of things. I don't know. I think sometimes people think that when you look at martial arts as an art, it cheapens it, or it means that the things that are important to them don't exist within it. That's not true. What is art? Art is expression. My definition of art, that in which the artist leaves part of themselves when they create it. You create a martial arts style, has a lot of you in it. You do a form in competition, if you do it well, there's a lot of you in it. You teach classes. You're putting yourself out there as you create this curriculum and instruct it. It's art. There is an artistic element to it. Anybody who's ever taught a class of 30 people knows that there is an art to balancing everyone's needs. You have to be creative. It's there. Right? Next. Art is like therapy. What comes up is what comes up. It may be dark, but that's what comes up. You may want to keep some of it in a drawer, but never judge it. Nick Bantock, British artist and author. I think the best art comes from a very emotional place with as little judgment and filter as exists, or as can be. What are the sources of emotion? It's love and pain, right? What are the two motivating forces in the universe? It's love and fear. So fear is pain, fear of whatever. The pain of losing my father, you can track that down to fear. There's fear in there. Not going to go into it, but it's rooted in fear. And then, honestly, some in love. So if we're creating art, we're tapping into one of those things, which is why, if you look at, let's say, most music, ultimately it comes down to love songs or some manifestation of fear, right? Give me a song, I can tell you which it is. And when really good art comes into being and the creator doesn't judge, when they let what come up, you get to go there with them. When we watch a movie, a really good movie, we get to be those characters. We get to be in that world, whatever, for a little while. And I think that's the appeal. You can say the same thing about music or TV or a book. And that's something I tried to do in the novel. I wanted to bring people to that world. And one of the things I found interesting is when I look at the critical comments on Amazon, which still drive me nuts, not one person has said that they didn't read it quickly. They did. Now, it's not the longest book on the planet, but I still took you there. You might not have been, what's the word I'm looking for? You may not have wanted to go there, but I took you there. A lot of people have said that it was a page turner, that they finished it much faster than they typically finish a book. That was the goal. Right, cat face? Next. Art is the one thing that speaks to everyone. Art transcends time and ties us all together as the human race. David Dory. Art does speak to everyone, but not all the same art. I say the same thing about martial arts. I believe that if everyone was forced, not that I would encourage this, but if everyone was forced to experience a whole bunch of different martial arts from a whole bunch of different instructors, ultimately everyone would find something that worked for them, that they would be engaged with. It may be a style of karate from this person, or it might be a style of taekwondo from this person, or it might be tai chi from this other person. I think ultimately everyone would find something they enjoy. And I think you can say the same thing about, let's call it more conventional representations of art. I don't know too many people who don't like music. We may not all like the same music, but most of us like music. How about movies? Most of us like movies, though we don't all like the same movies. And I think that's the fun. Because if we all liked the same movies, that's all we would get. It's kind of what we had for superhero movies for a while, right? Like everybody was going to Marvel movies. So all we got was Marvel movies. Now, fortunately, I like Marvel movies. But there wasn't a lot of variety in those plots. as good as they were. You could say the same thing about a lot of music today. It's very formulaic. Follows a process. But it's all good to somebody. It's all good to somebody. And we got one more. Remember, the more you give me to talk about, the more engaged I am. I am fully aware. Let me say this before I move on to the last quote. I am fully aware that I am not at my best right now. We have not had as many people watching live. We have not had as many people watching later. I suspect this is why. I'm doing the best I can. I am always going to show up and give you whatever I can. Sometimes that's not going to be what you're used to. Other days, I think I knock it out of the park. And that's okay. It's like training. It's like anything else. You're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to have highs and lows. I can't find ways to keep making this more, better. Because I'm not always going to be on this linear progression of growth and energy. But I think more than anything else that we do, and more than just about any content anybody puts out anywhere, what you get from me on this show is real. It is honest, it is authentic, and I refuse to change that. And that's not going to work for everybody, and that's okay. If you've listened this far into the episode, you're good with it. And I thank you. And I appreciate everybody's support. Do what you can with what you have, where you're at. Last quote. Art is a necessity, an essential part of our enlightenment process. We cannot, as a civilized society, regard ourselves as being enlightened without the arts. Ken Danby, a Canadian painter in the realist style. What are some of the oldest things we've found historically? Cave drawings. Like, those didn't need to exist. If you were a person, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago, whatever, you didn't have to spend the time making ink out of whatever they made ink out of and drawing pictures of people and woolly mammoths and whatever on cave walls. It didn't have to happen, but you did it. Why did they do it? Because art has the opportunity, doesn't always, but it has the opportunity to live on beyond ourselves. On some level, I think we all recognize our impermanence here on the earth. And we want to leave a mark. And we all leave that mark, or try to leave that mark in different ways. Some people it's through their children. Some people it's through business. Some people it's through art. Most of us, at least, find some joy in some music from a musician who's passed on. Movies from actors who have passed away. These things root us and give us points of demarcation from which to move forward, or references. Really significant art, I think, is the cultural equivalent of like a black belt test. I've talked about that before on the show here. My black belt test is something I refer back to. It's something that happened that I am better because of. When we think about Shakespeare's writing, that's kind of a good example of that. Shakespeare's writing is kind of the cultural equivalent of a black belt in that way. We can look at Macbeth and Othello, we can look at the sonnets, and maybe they're not for everyone, but a lot of people end up reading, acting, memorizing elements of Shakespeare's writing. It's a line, it's a plaque on the wall, it's a reference. And I don't know that I agree with the use of the word enlightenment, but I think we could say progress, moving forward, growth requires art, requires that creative aspect. Think of someone that you know who only engages in action, task, methodical process sort of work, moving boxes from here to here, and does nothing else. There's no creative element in their lives. Have they progressed as people? Have they grown? Are they maturing? Are they a better version of themselves? I'm going to guess not. I don't think it's possible. And so we start to see, and I'm glad we went here today, why the creative elements, the artistic elements of martial arts are so critical when you consider them as a tool or a vehicle for personal development. Without that free form artistic expression, you're not going to become the best version of yourself. You may not even change. So keep that in mind. I hope this was worth watching. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. Tomorrow's Friday. I bet we'll have some jokes from Frank. Remember, you're all welcome to contribute jokes. I like jokes. I could use more jokes in my life. I hope you have a good day. Regardless, I hope that some of you will leave me some stuff to talk about tomorrow. Did you hear that? She put her head. I can't show you this. She's got, because actually maybe I can. No, she put her head on my hand and went, It was like half purr, half sigh. And she thinks I'm making fun of her and she's going to leave. I wasn't making fun of you. It was adorable. Welcome to owning a cat. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, 6:30, all that stuff. Go watch episode 597. Andrew and I did. And let me know what you think. I appreciate all that those of you who do. Take care. Peace.